Guys, tuko na wewe. Safi brother. Hello beautiful people, wherever you are, welcome back. It's underscore Kintu back again to the root of today. Here we are, it's one-on-one live that we're going to be covering from this kind of the site. I've just I was been arrested a little bit with the police and talk about the back of this kind of the video because of some 2-3 papers here. Talk about the migration and whatever. You understand, whenever we're going to be moving from one position to another, we have such kind of the sarcasm that we're going to be falling apart. Talk about here and here, east, west, and other programs of the day. But the good thing is they have around me and I've just back to the bus station here in Arusha to make sure they're going to be boarding my bus to Mbeya, because I told them that I'm in Tanzania for a little bit of the movement. Talk about moving from Kenya to Tanzania, through Tanzania, so I can just get to Zambia in a good way. That's going to be the one which is a very fantastic. I see much of the vehicles are just popping in from this kind of the way. Very meticulous buses here. They're just arriving at the stage here, and that's going to be so good. But the good thing is I've reached at this kind of the center very much, and I think somebody can just like my heart here a little bit. You're going to be of Tanzania, going to be remembering that I came to Arusha and much of the things happen. So here we are at Arusha here, and I'm going to be boarding the bus to Mbeya, and going to be a little bit longer, and it's just a busy street, very busy street at this kind of the area. So many and very many buses are just arriving in and coming out at this kind of the sector. But everything will be coming to you live, which is one-on-one here. Very meticulous buses here that are just arriving at this kind of the Esquire. I like about it because it's business-oriented every time. But the good thing is, guys, here in Tanzania, much of the police are not like in Kenya. We have that kind of a bigger problem a little bit. Whenever they hear that is a Kenyan, they see you like a cannabis sativa. Oh, the brother wants to hit me like it's a party ride. Hey, yeah. Hey, the brother is not having a reverse alarm. It's no longer available. That is the nature, and we're going to be talking about that is the way we're going to be getting forward. I love about it, and we're going to be talking about Tanzania is the best. And here we are in Arusha. It's one of the best sites. Talk about yeah, I think much of the luggages are coming in, and I think in Tanzania he is very best in terms of checking on how the nature is and how everything is just running. Talk about the business is going on as usual, and that is the nature we need to grow with. So guys, everything is so good. Let's enjoy this kind of the Arusha, because it's just the center of Africa. Let's see why are much of the tourists arriving in this kind of Arusha. Why much of the people are arriving here? Because of what? Because of the business and also the opportunity that's given out in terms of the law that has governed them to exercise their own economical things here and social experience in Tanzania. And here we are in Arusha, very much, and it's very highly populated, and also it has much of the tourist attraction centers. Talk about, because Arusha is one of the sites that are going to be having the central of Africa. Why am I here? Also to experience and get some of the acknowledgement that's going to be coming out from here. Keep it tuned, keep it locked. Much of things going to be coming to you as far as everything is concerned. And this is the beginning. Guys, I think the race is going to be having here. And yeah, going to be getting much of the races. So we're going to be picking and getting out of this kind of the position one-on-one. And talk about I've just experienced, I'm just enjoying the caliber of this kind of the site. But I've been a little bit demoralized. Talk about the way they have just been treating much of the Kenyans here. It's not much better the way I could just experience, because the police here, hey, whenever they hear it's just a Kenyan, pogroms and much of the intercoms are going to be coming on. But they're going to be boarding this kind of the bus right now, so they can just be kicking off to Mbeya, and already I think it's being raced. Talk about acceleration is put so as you can just warm up, because everything going to be having a warm up before you're going to be taking over. And I think much of the people are just wondering, oh, this is going to be the biggest stage here. And very fine, very fine, very fine. Wow. Much of the people are just, much of the people are wondering, is this a movie going to be taking over? Oh, it might be a movie, but that's an experience I'm going to be checking on it. Let's board the bus and kick off from here. This is the bus. having a seat somewhere here. Number 31. It's gonna be my seat here. I have
welcome.
the dad here a little bit here. I'm gonna be sharing some of the 3 thoughts here, so you can just kick off the journey. You're gonna be experiencing, and it's gonna be a long journey. But keep it tuned. We're gonna be checking on it and what's really popping out after this. And this is the way of movement. I think they are just accelerating so they can just warm up the vehicle. It's going to be kicking off from here, and I think much of the people have already boarded the bus, and I think the politeness that is just handled in Tanzania is something very awesome. Whenever you are, we are just kicking off from here, and we're going to be just running. We are living. I'm at the window here, a little bit experiencing much of the nature here, and people here are so calm, and I like about them here. Hey, I see very many things are just sold at this kind of the moment, but we have to go, and I've just enjoyed. In Arusha, I'll just remember Arusha again, because I'm just moving to another area, so I can just experience and bring you much of the experience of the other nations, and talk about the other spaces, so I can just tanglement of this kind of the way. Let's move on it, and let's experience much of the match, which is coming to this kind of the moment one-on-one. This is a very big stage, very good one here. It's one of the good areas here that I can just be talking about it. That is it. Much of them are going to be talking about we're going to be having the snatchment here. No, nobody can just snatch you, because much of the people are talking about being snatched. Maybe they were not careful about it. But here, I think that just polite. Everybody fears the law, and that is it. And if they fear the law, they know whatever you're just doing at that kind of the moment is going to be so nice. So let's go and experience much of the road and how things are just running inside here. Let's go. Guys, I'm going to be here in Arusha. It's one of the iconic towns in Africa, whereby so many tourists arrive in Arusha. What's really perpendicular to this kind of the center? You can see much of the vehicles here. They are arranged for tourism and much of the nature. Talk about this is the area whereby the center of Africa. When we're going to be coming to Africa, the center is in Tanzania. It's somewhere called Arusha. Let me take you where the center of Africa is, so you can just understand. So many vehicles, so many people congested here, and it's because of a tourist site, and talk about a business-oriented area. That's why you see very many people and so many vehicles here, and it's just a city. It's very nice, because this is where much of the people meet, and talk about very tall buildings. They just accusate from this kind of an area. Talk about even talk about the exchange rate. Talk about even getting some foods a little bit expensive in this kind of the town, because of the nature that is just uplifting at this kind of the rate. But we have to understand that's the nature that we're going to be understanding to know perpendicularly per unit time as we're going to be venturing into it. Tourist vehicles everywhere, every kind of a space here, and talk about and what I've noticed is banks are everywhere. Talk about the banks, they are everywhere because of the exchange rate. Even me, I'm going to be having an exchange rate of Tanzanian shillings to Zambian shillings, so I can just, because I'm just moving to Zambia direct, so I cannot just miss that kind of an opportunity. This is the center where you can just get such kind of the money. The business-oriented staffs and very business-oriented people, they are here, and everybody is just admitted to your own work. Talk about working at your own dignity and having much of the things to do with you. That's the best thing we ever see in Arusha. So it's one of the finest cities that the high very growing in terms of the growing rate. It's very high, and it's one of the good area to go. So there's a Bank of Africa. Much of the people can just get much of the money the way you're going to be needing. Talk about hiking. People come here for the hiking, and also the climate is very cold, and you have to make sure that even if we are just walking, we have so many people, they have sweaters, jackets. That's why you see I have just this kind of a half one to make sure that everything is so fantastic here. Look at the vehicles, guys. Very expensive ones, eh? Yeah, very expensive vehicles here. Talk about tourists are everywhere in this kind of the city. Tourists are everywhere. Furniture, National Bank Commerce. Talk about here, everywhere is banks, bank. Bado kuko mbali? Guys, we are heading to the center of Africa, so you can just see, spot and understand what's really popping out at that kind of an extent here. Guys, this is the center of Africa we are talking about, called miaka 25 ya Vodacom. Oh, that's advertisement for Vodacom link. This is the center of Africa, and the way you can just check it at this kind of the spot is one of the iconic. I'm gonna be taking a little bit of a picture from here. Very fine, very fantastic. This kind of the rate Africa. This is the center of Africa, the middle one. Very nice. You can see tourists, they are here. So many tourists in this town here. They're just making sure that they're just passing by and everywhere for nature, and also moving to understand how this kind of an area works and how it operates. Guys, this is the center of Africa. The way you can just see this kind of the iconic value here, and it's one of the center of Africa. I mean Africa here. Guys, back to Arusha, in the streets of Arusha here a little bit, and I'm getting a little bit of a ride here and there, and the streets are so congested that in a manner that we're going to be getting a little bit of 2-3 things. I've already booked much of the vehicle taking me from Arusha to Mbeya. Guys, I told you that the journey is to get out of Tanzania a little bit. I'm going to be taking that kind of the couple of the moment, and I'm told that from here, from Arusha to Mbeya, going to be taking a couple of hours. So guys, we are just having a little bit of a leisure here. I'm turning around. I'm going to be checking on how 2-3 things are just running in Tanzania. Talk about the street, talk about people, talk about the behavior, and how everything is just. I know, guys, today whenever I was just moving to a place, and I got much of the police, and I like about how they always talk about, talk about in Swahili and some little bit English of shaking there and there. But the good thing is, I was a little bit to be arrested, but due to conditional circumstances, I had much of talk about all the papers that are required for me to be in Tanzania and all the stamps, and that's why I just talked about, they have a very fantastic statue here representing agriculture, which is the backbone of this kind of the economy of Tanzania. Very much fine at this kind of an extent. I like this kind of the nature, and here it's in Arusha, a little bit so fantastic, and I like the vehicles, man. Even the good thing is even the schools of here are a little bit are painted in yellow like in Kenya, which is a little bit more fantastic at this kind of the rate. So here we are just getting round to understand what's really popping out here. I like this were the graveyard. The graveyard here. And I think for a Muslim, much of the people here are Muslims, and this town is very cold, very cold. This is an extent of making sure that at night I don't know how you're going to be surviving here. Hey, when I landed here, a little bit there were much of the things here. So the fact is we're going to be getting to know how the people are just interrogating in town a little bit here and there. I like the climate, I like the nature. Wow, we have a very good river there. Kuna mtu anaweza ingia huku kidogo msituni huko, unaweza ingia lakini sasa hapa sipo. Tourist center, very big one. Wow, you can see it here. In Arusha, what I've just discovered is tourist vehicles are so many than even the ordinary vehicles here, and I don't know if that is the nature of this kind of. I know it's because of the tourist attraction. Talk about so many big hotels here, good vehicles here, very much better, and it's one of the best way of handling much of the things. Talk about so many tourist vehicles, every kind of the section, every corner, every side you go, tourist vehicles, they are everywhere. Yeah, this is now the busiest town here called Kariako. Very better and very best here. There's so many people exploring here. So many people here, so many people. Wow. Indio Kariako. This is called Kariako. It has so many people, guys. They are just here for business. Some are here for like selling, like beautiful ladies here, very beautiful ladies here, and their nature is just nurturing here, and it's one of the best way to go. So we are just going back to talk about the bus station, so I can just see if my timeline has just reached or it has not yet reached. So that's why we're just branching a little bit to understand what's really popping out here. It's highly congested, very highly congested here. But that's the nature. We understand that because of the business, and I think people here are just eating well. Talk about the tourist attraction area, and so many people because of the iconic things. Talk about a safari that is always headed here in Arusha. So many things are being headed here, including talk about whenever we're going to be passing to Serengeti National Park, we're going to be passing through Arusha here. So it's going to be having so many people attracted here. Very best. So I'm back to the bus station here, so I can just see my bus. I think it's Koko. So we are just going back to the bus station. It's always even congested also, and this is where much of the menus are coming from. You can even see here Arusha, a city of tourists, and it's going to be having so many tourists here. If you're going to be coming to Tanzania, that's why much of the people like to come to Tanzania here for explosion and getting much of the experience from Africa, and including so many things east, west and south. Hakuna kusikia mauchungu ile ya machungwa ile. Ukishachonga hivyo ina shida. Usikie kitu chochote, ina shida. this is a technique that I found in Arusha here. This is how they do it. Kwa hivyo haya mangapi? Manne? Bado ni moja hapo. So guys, it's 200 Tanzania shillings here. I think we can call them the fingers. Yeah. You cannot do this one if you don't have talk about experience. This one is a very good technique here. It's not done in Kenya. I've not seen this one in Kenya. Sijaiona hii Kenya babu. Yes, hii bado Kenya sijaiona.
Kenya hamna hii.
Ai, Kenya unaparuliwa katikati babu na maganda tolea mbele. Shauri yako kwenda huko.
Huko sasa unamenyewa hivi.
Unamenyewa. So they have to create
kwa machungu.
Yeah.
Unakuwa uchungu kwenye mdomo, unasikia mchungu, lakini ukimenyewa hivi hausikii uchungu wowote.
Hapo sasa unafanya aje? Unaliparua katikati?
Unakata hapo.
Katikati. Oh. Na tena kwingine tena. So unakula ikiwa yote hivyo. Piece moja moja kwanza. Acha nichukue hii. Gaza kona. Yeah, it's not having that kind of the bitterness that's just coming out of talk about the backs. It's gonna be so fantastic here. Wow, even this one like a back here, not much bad, but it has some of the bitterness a little bit where he has not trimmed very much. Fantastic. Wow. Haya mabushi ngapi hapa?
Kuna 1,000, kuna 2,000, 3,000, 4,000.
Guys, don't be talk about how is the money just running here. The money is that way. Talk about 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000. It's a normal thing in Tanzania because of the currency. So that's what is just perpetuating here. Na hizi shilingi ngapi baba? 1,000. 1,000 is 50 shillings even if you're gonna be Kenya shillings here. Unaweza lipo na hera ya Kenya baba? I'm asking about if I can pay with Kenyan shillings.
Hela ya Kenya sababu uchenchika sasa ndio shida.
So utaenda NMB huko.
Wewe unachenchika yani sema sasa yani utazunguka kwa.
So guys, here we are trying to communicate a little bit in Swahili. I'm a good Swahili talker, and this is the experience that we're going to be having here at the stage, and everything going to be coming to you live, which is one-on-one here. I like about it. Fungia hayo basi. Unakata si ndio? Having a very long way from here to Mbeya. Going to be a very long, talk about like 13 to 14 hours running of this kind of the area. So I'm going to be taking some of the 2-3 things, so I'm going to be using them a little bit here and there. Keep it tuned. Finally, I've already booked this kind of a bus, so I can just take off from this kind of the position, and I'm gonna be rushing back to a place called Mbeya, then a place called Tunduma. I'm gonna be checking from this kind of day. It's called I'm gonna be having all the names and the sorts of the names called about where you can just go. You cannot be lost. Here I am. It's in Arusha a little bit here, and I'm gonna be taking off from this kind of the position a little bit time. I'm gonna be getting back, and I'm gonna be getting to the area. So I have so many people here just selling much of the gadgets here. Talk about the hawkers, and I like about whatever they're just selling. Hey bro, mambo, kofia shingapi hapo? Kofia hapo. Kofia shingapi? Kofia 10 brazao. Gani hizo? Nataka hizi za hizi hapa za politician wa Kenya hizi. I'll be checking for a little bit a hat that looks like for the politicians in Kenya. Let me get it one. Acha check moja. I don't know this one how it's gonna be, but gonna be testing it right now so I can just determine. I think I look I don't know how I look like right now, but they are muchly associated with the politicians in Kenya. Mostly the politicians are gonna be taking them. I don't know how I look like right now, but you're gonna be a little bit so characteristically nice. Shingapi babu? Shingapi? Iya, shingapi? Wewe ongea bei mzuri babu.
Shingapi alipa?
Unasema?
Alipa bei gani pesa?
Acha nikupatie 8,000 babu.
Kabisa 10.
Hapana, 8,000 nakupa.
Chukua.
Sawa? As I had to make sure that I'm negotiating a little bit here so I can just buy one So as I can just talk about, I've got out of Arusha here with something very nice, and logistically very fantastic here. Let me check amount of money they're gonna be having the losers here. The money in Tanzania is a little bit so different. Let me check for it. Oh, some money and stuff. Monies are getting down. So here we have 5,000, 2,000 and 1,000. So this is gonna be 8,000. In Kenya shillings, it's gonna be like yeah, babu. Iko sawa? Exactly. So it's something that I will just be talking about. Yeah, I got to this kind of the point and I took one of it. It's gonna be so awesome and very fantastic at this kind of the caliber of the moment. Guys, gonna be so good. They have much of the watches here. They're just hawkers here, and they have very much things here. Well, they have to overtake each other. They're like vehicles here and there. That's the nature, and we have to accommodate it. We have, and everybody's looking for something very best. So guys, we are just kicking off from this kind of the position, and we're gonna be rushing. I think I'm gonna be reaching to, I don't know, tomorrow morning. Right now it's gonna be like what's the time right now here? It's gonna be like it is it's a 16:28, and it's like it's gonna be kicking off like some minutes from now, and we're gonna be rushing to there. I'm gonna be reaching there early in the morning. I think we're gonna be having a sleep onto the bus. It's gonna be very crazy, but awesome at that kind of an extent. That's the life. We're gonna be making sure that travel gonna be coming. So people who are just in Zambia, wait for me on Wednesday. I'm gonna be arriving in Zambia, so I can just meet each other. Maybe on Thursday I'll be in Lusaka, something like that one. So we're gonna be making sure they're gonna be reaching that kind of the point. Keep it tuned, keep it locked. Wherever you are, let's just tangle here. But a little bit we had today much of the 2-3 shenanigans here, but on the long of the way we're gonna be handling much of the pogroms and intercoms that are gonna be coming or prevailing with us, and this is the caliber of taking off from this kind of the position. Keep it tuned, let's go with the journey and then discover. To clear the way before just departing from here, and you can see the mode of transport they're going to be having here. Very nice. They have a tuk-tuk, they have motorbikes here. I've not seen bicycle like in Kenya, but I'm going to be talking about something which is an experience. I don't know if they're going to be having much of them here, but motorbikes are like in Kenya, so many of them here. The town, and we are now out of the town, and we are now getting to the main roads and the streets, whereby going to be driving us through much of the talk about the cities and some of the towns, talk about from here to Dodoma and whatever they're gonna be, and they're gonna be broadcasting it live. But it's in the evening. I think I'm gonna be reaching to much of the sections. It's gonna be so late at that kind of an extent. But we're gonna be trying our best to make sure that we're gonna be capturing much of the things east, west, and south, so you can just have it running from one position to another. It's a little bit here. Gonna be a little bit of the lightings here. We're gonna be coming back. That's kind of the pitch.